guys, welcome back to Sweetie Pie Pets. So recently I've been receiving a lot of comments and requests to talk about Luxating Patella and what it is and if you should be worried about it. So today Margot and I are going to talk about Luxating Patella and what signs you should look out for and what you can do to try and prevent it and what you might need to do if you do get that diagnosis for your Sweetie Pie. What is Luxating Patella? Luxating Patella is basically a dislocated kneecap. And if you didn't know, a Chihuahua's knee is right here. Dislocated knee. Ew. In Latin, the word luxating means to dislocate, and patella means a small plate. And that is because the kneecap is actually like a little tiny plate. Luxating patella is unfortunately more common in some of the smaller breeds, such as Chihuahuas, Yorkies, and Maltese, and a few others. Larger breeds can also get patella luxation, in particular the Labrador Retriever. However, they kind of have some of their own issues. They can get elbow dysplasia, which is not what we're going to talk about today. Today we are just talking about Luxating Patella. So with Luxating Patella, the kneecap actually slides out of its little groove. There's a groove in the kneecap right here. It's called a femoral patellar surface. It's basically a little groove that's right on the femur, and that is where the kneecap is supposed to sit inside that groove. And there's tendons coming off in all four directions from that groove, and those tendons are supposed to help to hold that kneecap right in that groove. Depending on how severe the luxating patella is, the kneecap can slide either on the inside or on the outside. So your veterinarian might use terms such as a floating kneecap, or even a trick knee, or a loose knee. It doesn't mean that the kneecap is detached, it just means that the ligaments that are there to hold it in place have been stretched or are somehow weakened and they are not holding it where it's supposed to be. Now this can happen from birth if it's a genetic issue, but it can also happen through trauma. If your dog's kneecap slides to the inside of the kneecap, it's called a medial luxating patella, which is Latin for middle. If the kneecap slides to the outside of the patella, then it's called a lateral luxating patella, which is Latin for located on the side. Sometimes a doctor will use the term bilateral, which means the kneecap can slide to both sides, the inside or the outside. Luxating patella can present on both legs or just one leg or the other. And the most common diagnosis for small breeds is a medial luxating patella. So what causes luxating patella? Well, there's a couple different things. Number one, as I mentioned, a genetic predisposition. So if it's a genetic condition, you might even receive a diagnosis with your puppy as young as 4 to 6 months of age. However, keep in mind that if your Sweetie Pie is diagnosed with luxating patella, it's nearly impossible to say why she has it. Sometimes they inherit it from their parents, but if the parents don't have luxating patella, then it's just as likely that your Sweetie Pie got it from trauma, which brings us to our next possible cause. So yes, trauma can also be a cause of luxating patella. For instance, if your Sweetie Pie is a jumper and they like to jump down from high furniture like the couch, that action can weaken and eventually lead to a displaced kneecap. And some Chihuahuas are just jumpers and they jump all around everywhere, and your Sweetie Pie might experience some other accident that you're not even aware of. I definitely recommend buying some stairs for your Sweetie Pie so that they can climb up and down onto the couch and the bed instead of jumping. I will put a link in the description below for the set of stairs that I have if you guys want to try it out. And finally, a third cause can be obesity. Yes, putting continued extra weight on those joints can damage them. That's why it's super important to maintain a healthy weight for your Sweetie Pie and get daily exercise. And yes, exercise for your Chihuahua can simply be some yard time or playtime indoors. Chihuahuas don't really need a lot of exercise. And watch those table scraps. So how common is luxating patella? So for small breeds, according to my research, somewhere between 5 and 7% will end up with some form of luxating patella. And luxating patella is given a grade 1 through 4. Your veterinarian can diagnose what grade it is, and it's really important to pay attention to that because that's going to determine what treatment your Sweetie Pie needs. So when you take your Sweetie Pie to the vet, they're going to feel her knee, and they might even have you feel it too so you can see what they're doing. The kneecap is floating, so you can kind of move it around a little bit, but you're not supposed to be able to move it out of that little groove. With grade 1, it will be sitting in the groove, but your veterinarian will be able to move it to one side or the other, or maybe both, and then it will generally go back into place. So with grade 1, your Chihuahua might not really even seem to notice, but you'll be able to feel, and there will be no doubt about what's happening because the kneecap's not supposed to be able to move to the outside or the inside. So if your sweetie pie has grade 2, then that means that the patella can actually move out of its location spontaneously without you having to move it. You might even see your sweetie pie trying to pop it back into position. Sometimes they'll like stretch out their hind legs and kind of put it out the opposite way, which can help to put it back into position. For grade 3, the patella will remain luxated most of the time. And for grade 4, the patella is permanently dislocated and actually cannot even be moved back into place. Okay, so now let's talk about how debilitating this can be. First question, is it painful to your sweetie pie? So this depends on a couple things. If the kneecap is in place, then it's not going to be painful to your sweetie pie. So if she has grade 1, it really won't hurt that much at all. You can keep an eye on how she walks, and you might see that she kind of keeps her weight off of one leg or the other, and that might be her just trying to avoid the use of that knee. Now obviously with grade 2 through 4, it's going to be more painful, which is just one more reason to love the tiniest dog breed of all. Obviously, it's going to be more painful if you're a heavier dog because trying to put any weight on that joint that can't support the weight is going to hurt. But Margot only weighs 3 pounds. Less weight, less pain. So that's kind of reassuring for sweetie pie owners. Now, I don't know firsthand because I've never had a sweetie pie with luxating patella, but according to my research, the most painful part of it is while it is slipping in and out of position. So can your sweetie pie live with luxating patella? Well, to some degree she can, especially if it's grade 1. She might not even need any real treatment outside of just, maintaining a healthy weight and exercise, and I do recommend getting her on a supplement. I'll put a link in the description below for a good supplement that you can use if you do get a diagnosis of luxating patella for your sweetie pie. It's called New Joint by New Vet Labs, and I like it because it has glucosamine and chondroitin, which helps to keep arthritis at bay, which you definitely want to do because that's going to add to the pain level. So just keep in mind this is not a cure for luxating patella, but it will help to prevent arthritis. However, please make sure that you follow the advice of your trusted veterinarian for all treatment options. And also make sure to get a second opinion. So what are the treatment options? Probably the first line of defense is just being aware of it and trying to prevent it in the first place. Have I mentioned healthy weight and regular exercise? And try to keep her from jumping off the furniture. Have I mentioned stairs? Link in the description below. Treatment option 2 is management. There's even some knee braces that you can get that are supposedly going to help stabilize the joint, but I don't really have any experience with that, and I'm sure your sweetie pie would not love to wear that. But it probably depends on the grade and how much pain she's in. So the last option, and the one that you probably don't want to hear from your veterinarian, is the surgery option. If your sweetie pie has luxating patella grade 2, 3, or 4, then your veterinarian is probably going to talk to you about the surgical option. There's a lot of factors involved, including your sweetie pie's level of pain and how debilitating the condition currently is, how quickly it might deteriorate, the prognosis after surgery, and the possibility of the condition returning, her age, and her general overall health. So please, again, have a trusted veterinarian so that you guys can discuss any of these options. So as I mentioned earlier, I do recommend that you get a second opinion if you receive the diagnosis of luxating patella. I'm not saying that a vet is going to misdiagnose your dog because it's pretty obvious and they'll probably even let you feel it, but you do need to pay attention to whether or not your sweetie pie is actually in pain. I do think there are some vets who are real quick to go to the surgery option instead of, trying other things first, and surgery is dangerous. Remember, it's dangerous to go under anesthesia. If your sweetie pie only has grade 2 and they don't seem to be in much pain and they only weigh like 3 pounds like Margot and they don't jump up and down on furniture, then maybe it's something that your sweetie pie can live with and you can just manage the pain and keep her weight healthy. So there you have it, everyone. I hope you found this video on luxating patella informational and helpful. And if you did, please share it on all your social media. And please subscribe, like, and comment. I love hearing from all of you guys. Thank you so much. Mwah! We'll see you next time on Sweetie Pie Pets. Bye-bye.
Love you. Say I love you, Marco.
Love you guys.